Day of the 3rd of March, 2015. It's a regular meeting day for the Twiggs County Board of Commissioners, but the first thing on our agenda is a public hearing regarding the 2015 budget. So we're gonna start with that. That'll last to 9:30, and then we'll proceed with our meeting, okay? If y'all will join me in a pledge of allegiance to the flag and a short silent prayer, we'll get on the way. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is a budget hearing to approve the 2015 budget. And y'all read, who printed this thing so little up?
That's what I was finna say too.
Oh,
God,
look.
you can't see that.
What's the total, Garn? I can't read it. 6,815,000.
35, ain't it?
I think so,
6,835. 71270 like to me.
Y'all must think we still 20 years old.
I don't know.
732.70.
Huh? Y'all should request her to give us a big number.
Sure that, before you read.
I got four
I
eyes
got read,
and
but I
still
can't
can't
read.
see. I got four and can't see.
All right, anybody want to comment about the budget?
I'll start it off, Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. I do have some questions, if you don't mind, sir.
All right, bud, come on.
I haven't seen a copy of it since it was, posted in the New Era, Twiggs County New Era. Has anything changed since then?
The only thing is, we're gonna put back your part-time help, you know what we talked about.
Yes, we did, that's the main thing I wanted to.
As soon as we approve it, then we're gonna make it better.
Y'all need copies of anything on any of that? Y'all got it for you. Y'all like to
Y'all
see
need to
anything?
chop it up.
When you say copies, you're talking about for a part-time person.
Right.
It's the same thing you've already
Same as it
had.
was
Same
last
thing.
year. What
If
happened
you
on
got
it?
a copy, I wouldn't mind having
Yeah,
one.
what happened was when we had our budget session, that was mentioned, and, at that time, everybody that was here agreed that it was spent $12,000 for years. I never used it, but that's what it's for.
I think I already got it.
Is that, when we include that, does that leave your
Yeah,
budget
when I
the same as the
left-
previous year?
Right, when I left the budget here, and it's the same as it was in 13, the same as 14. So when Miss Donna went through and did her thing with the salaries, she dropped it off.
So
When y'all got it, y'all got found, even though y'all agreed to the part-time, salaries, it was dropped out of the budget, so when she advertised it in the paper, it did not include, my budget was down 5%, which was like $12,000. So it
with the
actually came out.
12,000, if we included that, would that, be the same as
It brings me
2000?
back to 2013, 2014.
What we were looking at that morning was the same thing, and then
That's right.
she left, she redid the figures.
And it was an honest mistake. What it was, she went in and pulled the salaries that were paid the year before, and I did not use that money, so she just dropped it off. But it has to be there by code check.
Well, we got no problem in, using, so we realize, right there, tax collection time at the end of the year. You're gonna need it, it needs to be there.
Well, I hadn't had to use it for the last 4 years, 3 or 4 years, but it's I just needed if somebody gets sick and I have to pull somebody in.
Pull somebody in,
I
yeah.
only have 2 full-time personnel right now.
Right, right.
Any other question, Bud?
One other thing, we did mention, when we had our budget hearing, all the constitutional officers, and they've asked me to speak for them, when, we came in for our budget hearing, mentioned that, and I don't know that statute, Patty, do you have that?
I have the, it's from the county commissioner's website, and it's, I think it's-
15963.
You'll have the county attorney to check on that. It's a state minimum salary bill for constitutional officers. For the last 4 or 5 years, the state has not given any salary increases, but when the state gets one, then they forward that to, under minimum salary, to the constitutional officers. So there's a 1%, and it was brought up during the budget workshop, that 1% for the constitutional officers. Now, I'm speaking on behalf of the 3 other constitutional officers. Myself, I'm not under the state minimum salary bill. I'm under the county local legislation. Georgia law says that whichever's higher is the one you go by. Mine is higher under the minimum salary bill, so I've always been under, but the other 3 constitutional officers are under. However, my bill also says that anytime the county governing authority gives a cost of living raise to any other employees, then I'm covered as well as my employees. And the same thing under the minimum salary bill for the other 3 constitutional officers, any cost of living raises that they get basically goes to the county employees. So, that's just something we want the board to take a look at, before they finalize it. And I'll see if y'all can give us some help on that.
Does it specify cost of living raises?
I believe it's
It
called
is.
COLA, that's what
When you go to the ACCG website, and you go to that 2015 how to compute that actually your personnel director uses to compute salaries, it has a 1% for the county commissioners, the coroners, the magistrate, any person, and it's listed as step number 6, add the 2015 COLA, 1%.
But they specify cost of living.
It is a COLA.
And if you go into the local bill, it specifies that any cost of living that any of the other county employees get, and I get it on my minimum salary bill.
And it does make a mention that this is the first one since 2008, because there was not one for 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
And there's not been a
Well,
cost of
all
living raise.
prices and all that stuff been going down, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. But there's not been a cost of living raise for county employees since,
2008.
2008, that's for anybody.
Could the Constitution officer give cost of living raise?
Sir?
Could the Constitution could Constitution officer give their employee cost of living raise?
If we have it in our budget, we could, but
If
like my
not in the
budget,
budget, you can't do it.
I don't have anything spare in my budget, so some officers may be able to, but some may not.
When we, I guess I had that to attorney, when we approve that budget, when we approve this outline veto budget, when we approve that budget, that mean that so in other words, you can use your budget any kind of way you want to when we approve your budget. You can take your, now if you give cost of living raise, what do we have to do then when you got your budget, then you come up shortfall on your budget when it's not approved?
We got to come back before you with our hat in our hands and ask you to fund whatever we need funded. I mean, that's up.
Well, so when you go to your cost of living, then, but you got it in there what we funded for your budget, but you thought it, but you come there and took some of your money for a cost of living raise, and then you expected for us to come back to us and ask for us to give you some more money. But you
In that
don't.
case, if it were to happen, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, but in that scenario, yeah, you're right.
I just want to know.
Yeah.
What's the thing, sir?
I think we better take a look at it. It's not something I know off the top of my head. There are some provisions which I think as we've all gotten into this over the last 2 or 3 months, we got to get back into the rule of law. And if in fact that's it, I'll have an opinion for you next meeting. But I don't have one for you this morning.
Well, it does go back to the first of the year, 15.
So we
I
owe
think
you
we can work out
1%.
something. We can make amendments to the, we can work it out.
What that 1% you're talking about?
Okay,
Attorney said he'd have an answer on that tomorrow.
okay.
He wants to check.
And also, consider the increase that anybody else has received.
Sir,
And also, the COLA is one part of the question. The other part is that any other overall increase that we have given, then you ought to do that also.
yes, that's two parts of that law.
Yeah,
On
two
the
parts,
local
yeah.
bill, it says cost of living or the average of any other salary increase.
That you've given,
So
yeah. Okay.
that's on the local bill.
Right. Well, I think we
Okay,
can work
anybody
that
else?
out. Any other questions?
That's all I have.
Anybody else wanna make a? Nobody?
Everybody's happy.
Seems to be, don't it?
You better take a vote quick.
You have it now, we walk out that door.
There's my legal advice.
That millage rate had gone up 2 mills, you can have some people, you can have some discussions.
Hey, but we wouldn't have anybody sitting in this audience defending us. So I asked those old commissioners.
When I send the bills out, I don't send that millage rate. That's it.
Not our fault.
Yeah, what happened if 2% decrease?
Oh, now,
What would happen if 2% decrease? Minutes.
I don't wanna talk about that.
I move, Mr. Chairman, that the board address, according to the law, the two requests we have from the constitutional office.
Got a second?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any more discussion that? You said you will have us answer next
Yes,
meeting,
sir, I will.
and we can, go in and approve, and then we can make an amendment to it?
Yes, sir.
Do we have to do a resolution to make the
I thought we were
amendments?
gonna wait on
Yeah,
his
one-
legal opinion first.
Yes, when we actually go to the budget.
Wait a minute, whoa. I'm a little confused. I heard Mr. Bond's motion, and what you just said conflicts with that. Are we approving it today?
I want to approve and then make
No,
an
no, I'm
amendment,
not
or what?
suggesting that. I'm trying to figure out what you're telling him. He was gonna
I
go
want
Well, my
legal.
understanding was we
It's
go
the
and
law.
approve, and then we make an amendment to it according to the
You know, to
legislature.
advertise.
Well, we don't know what it is until he tells us.
I know it.
Yeah, but the law
So
stipulates,
his message, his motion covers it,
exactly, that's what I intended
but
to do.
yours conflicts with it.
I didn't make a motion.
The law stipulates the amount that we should pay, the 1%, and also the amount that we have already given some other employees. Those two items have to be
Do you
included.
want to wait on the budget until we hear from
No.
them, or you want to go ahead and approve?
I want to go ahead and approve it, give them some assurances that it's there, but we go back to the first of the
Okay,
year.
would you read the message back, or motion back the way he stated it?
To address the request from the constitutional officer.
Address it, yes. It doesn't mean approve.
Yes,
If
that's
he
what I-
approved, then it's been
That's
rejected.
what I'm saying.
Approve, so we can make an amendment.
Well, he said.
Well, let me clarify the
We
motion.
ain't talking about the budget.
Mr. Chairman, let me clarify the motion then.
Go ahead.
All of this it comes under state law, and we most certainly want to abide by it because we don't have a choice. So I'm saying that for their satisfaction of mine, that we approve the increase in both categories and use our normal system of amending the budget to, formalize, and it is to start as the state law specifies, the first of the year, 2015.
Well, let me ask you this question. Okay, I second that motion, so we in discussion. Well, now, what happens if a constitutional officer have already gave an increase? Is he still gonna get that 1% too?
That's two separate issues. The 1% comes anyway.
I know it, but what I'm saying is that mean that one department done got two cost of living raised in. Do we have to give everybody else two?
Well, you're gonna
We
have
gonna
to
have to
set,
give everybody else two if we get one in
No,
one
no.
department.
no, the GIF 2015 clarifies that, that is a 1% increase starting the year 2015.
I understand
If somebody's already got it, of course, it's been addressed for his concern. It's already been addressed.
But what happens if it doesn't? Every employee doesn't meet up to that 1%. where some will be short of that 1%. We're gonna have to look at this thing here, and we're gonna have to give the people, the people that already got a cost of living raise, if that 1%, what they got for that cost of living rate, if it don't equal up to that 1%, we got to go and do the 1%.
Naturally, you have to pull it to 1%.
You have to
That's
pull it
the
to
minimum.
1%.
That's a minimum. That's what the law requires.
What if you go over that 1%?
Well, that's up to our discretion if we go over the 1%.
I think we should wait until we get a legal opinion before we take any action on it.
I agree.
May I ask you, may I offer a legal option, and Mr. Bond, this may or may not get where you want to go. The budget, if I can understand it, as you all have printed, does not account for the cost of living raise or any other raise presented by the tax commission. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Bond, the only question I have, if this commission approves your motion as stated, as I understand it, you may be locked into raises, and that may, it's not that I'm questioning what's been presented, I just don't know the answer. You've got some good legal and administrative minds out there. My thought would be that if you approve, you have two options: to approve the budget as submitted today and then amend it in 2 weeks. I will get my opinion to you before that meeting so you all have a chance to look at it.
Well, I'm saying this, the law is very clear on it. We're already locked into the 1% on one side, and also the law, and this has been the law since I was here before. You're locked in if you give a raise to other employees, the constitutional officers are entitled to it. That's something we fought 20 years ago, and lost that hands up. So what I'm saying is that for the ease of their minds, let's go ahead and do it, because we're going to end up doing it anyway. And, you know, I don't see any reason. Now, back to what I was saying. I don't see any reason of a delay, because the only thing you're doing, you leave the question open. The law closes the question. It states the amount, it states the year, and way before that law was in effect, the law that says that whatever we give other employees, the constitutional officers are entitled to it. We ran into that on several occasions. One, you remember, in '88, no, it was before '88, it was 1981 or '82, we put together a retirement program for our employees. Even though the constitutional officers were covered under their state retirement program, we had to include them again. So they had two retirement programs, which I think has since been thrown out or really gutted. But the law requires that you do that. That's a state law. We can't get around it. We know that's it. So I see no reason why we couldn't go on with this phase of it. And they realize that once we get the budget advertised, then they'll receive for this year. But just to drag it out, I don't see any reason. I don't think we gotta, you know, and my God, you know, 1% isn't much. The only thing that's dropped, and it's going back up in the last few years, and I buy stuff, and that's the fuel. And it's going up, it's gonna get right back where it was.
About 10 some gallons,
That's what I'm saying. You know, 1% increase if somebody hadn't had a basic salary increase in 4 or 5 years. I mean, that's it. It just takes a certain amount of money to operate a county or anything else. And to have people going year after year without a cost of living, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. That's all.
Read that motion again.
Mr. Bond made a motion to address the requested pay increases from the constitutional officers, approve and then amend the budget as required later.
You'll hold the second.
Mr. Brown, second.
The motion is to approve it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not that cold, no. His motion is to postpone that, so.
No, it ain't. No, it's not. No, it's not.
The bottom line is,
I'm talking about the
it's a
1%.
state requirement, we're gonna do it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why even vote on it now?
That
I'd
is
like
to,
a legal opinion. I'm sure everybody here wants to stay legal. And I'd like a legal opinion before I vote on it.
well, that's fine. The only thing I'm trying to say, you say what, Mr. Chairman?
I ain't said a word, I'm just sitting there.
I knew, I just caught a motion.
Yeah, I'm just moving my head.
Oh, okay. The thing is, it is the law.
It is long, we don't have to go by it.
That's right. Why wait and hang out and just go ahead and do it and get that out of
My
the way?
question is, we have not had an opinion from anybody trained in legal matters.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We're asking for that.
I'll tell you what. There are certain basic things when you run for this office, like doing anything else. You put your name on the ballot. Some of these things is up to you to find out on your own before you walk in here. You gotta look at the attorney's face and wait on his opinion all the time. You just always gonna be running up attorney bills and running behind the game.
In
That's
case-
all I got to say.
In case you didn't notice, he presented a legal opinion on it, the various laws, both local and state, and I think that we need a legal opinion.
But my problem is that, I need all the constitution officers to be on one accord. You
They
see?
will be.
And like I said, if that's the case, we're gonna have to go back through the budget. We gotta go back through the budget, then we gotta come back and do a different resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Because,
I respectfully withdraw the motion.
yeah, right. Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm still got, well, I haven't.
Can't have a whole second on one I've withdrawn.
But I haven't withdrawn my second yet till I get through.
Now, if you ain't got a motion, Tom, you ain't no use having a
But
sign.
I ain't withdrawn my second, it's still on the book. I got to
All these
withdraw.
are signed.
I have to withdraw, Mr. Chairman,
All got
because before I finish, then I withdraw. See, we still in discussion, but I have withdrawn myself. What I'm saying, Mr. Chairman, I agree with what the law says, but I would like for every constitution to come in about the Constitution office. I like for every Constitution officer to be on the same page. Some Constitution officers have already given raise to their employees. Then we got this 1% that we got to get in. So what I'm saying is that if one Constitution officer employee get more than they might get, they already got a raise, they might get what, 2%. They might be getting a 2% raise. Then we got to come back and do the budget for every other employee get a 2% raise. I want to find that out first before we get into this so that we all won't have to be going back through the same thing over and over and over again.
The question at hand in the end of the discussion only related to constitutional office.
Right, that's what I'm talking about, on related to Constitution officer, but we got to give every Constitution officer that 1%, they employ 1% raise.
You're talking about employees. We're talking about constitutional office.
I know, but what I'm saying is that some Constitution officer has already got a raise. They have already received a raise. Then we got to come back. We don't know. They don't receive a raise. What if the other Constitution officer employee get the 1% and that Constitution officer employee done got 2 or 3%?
You're still speaking of constitutional employees.
Right.
We're talking about constitutional officers. And if anybody received over that 1%,
I know.
from 2015,
Local.
he's already, satisfied.
Then we have local, then it bring about the local legislation about we have to give an increase.
Constitutional officers.
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to interrupt the discussion, but just to throw some food for thought. We know I'm comfortable that you're going to take it under advisement, and the county attorney's going to look at that statute about the COLA.
Right.
But I don't want us to confuse the difference of a COLA, cost of living, that's a mandated extra expense on the county that actually increases the outlay from the county commissioners, from a merit manipulation of an inner budget of a department, because see, you ultimately control the purse strings of any of our offices. So if my employees get any type of merit pay increase, it's all still within the same budgetary amount you know, so it hadn't been an increase on the county treasury like a COLA is an increase. I'm sure you have to go back and figure out a way to fund that COLA. But when you're talking about, you know, the 1% or the inter-office merit, you know, increase, the COLA, as far as the ACCG is concerned, I mean, it stretches down to the county commissioner, the coroner, the magistrate. I mean, you know, it's everybody listed on there for the COLA. I mean, that includes you too. So it's just the 1% mandate from the based on the state law.
Yes, I agree with you there, but what I'm saying is that I want to make sure that it is done properly and correctly.
Well, that's true, because I understand, because I mean, there's been several county employees that's had upwards of 10% pay increases over the last year. 10% is a good chunk. That's way more than the cost of living. So, you know, 10%ers is $2,000 a year. You know, my folks haven't seen nothing like that since I've been in office.
Well, some folks got $45,000 a year around here. Some folks done had got $5,000. Some folks done had got $4,000. Go back and look at it when it come up on this in University of Georgia study. You'll see how people that walked in the door got $3,000 and $4,000 on the University of Georgia study. That's why we did away with it.
So we're not, we don't do that study anymore.
Mr. Bond tried to withdraw his motion. You gonna withdraw your second?
Yeah, if you don't withdraw the motion, I withdraw the second. As I said, I withdraw that. I'm finished.
Anybody want to say that about this budget? All right, what y'all want to do? Somebody put a motion.
No, we gotta wait a week, don't we?
I thought that we had already asked the attorney to give us an opinion,
That's right.
and that's what I personally waiting on.
Okay, somebody make a motion to that effect. We're gonna
I
wait
think
for
it's
that.
in there, isn't it?
I
It's
think
already
that,
in
Have we voted on that motion to wait?
No.
He was already asked to get a legal.
He asked us to get a legal opinion. All right, somebody let's make a motion to wait till we get a legal opinion.
The attorney, you know, asked us to do a legal opinion. The attorney said he'll get back to us in a week. I already asked
If you
for a
don't
legal
want, okay,
opinion.
if you don't want to make that right, that's fine. So, we won't, budget won't come up this morning. All right, that's for this budget, that's over with. Now we're going to a regular meeting.
small, Mr. Chairman.